Ty and Brian, I'm going to ask on this one too. When you're talking to the union officials about the leave time, why don't you discuss this one as well? It doesn't sound to me like this would be one that there'd be a dispute, but it certainly, you know, part of the frustration I have is that there have been no negotiations leading to this, and a lot of the stuff could have been done in those negotiations. So I doubt you'll have a dispute here, so if you could include that in your discussions.
Is that the only change, Ty, in the list of drugs to be tested?
Those are the only two to add, correct. We're going to retain the list as it is and add those.
And just add those two.
Correct.
And I think if you just made the reference to the DHH, the Health and Human Services list, then if there was an amendment to the Health and Human Services list, you would just follow that.
Correct.
That's what I'm talking about.
Next proposal is on classification and grievance process. What we're proposing here is to expedite the classification grievance process to eliminate the first step, and then provide that all grievances under this article will be considered constructively withdrawn if not scheduled for arbitration within 2 years of the denial of the Office of Administration. We currently have a grievance backlog that dates back to the oldest grievance from 2003.
We instructed you a few hearings ago to meet with Ian Lynn from Sean's office to talk about the grievance procedure, heart and lung. Is this something that should be part of that, or do you think this is separate and apart?
Not a part of the heart and lung process.
No, I know it's not part of the heart and lung, but I mean, is this something we should throw into your discussion?
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Well, yeah, because you also have this situation where you're talking about 2 years here, and just looking down the line, you have another proposal that any grievance that isn't scheduled for arbitration within 1 year is quote unquote constructively withdrawn. There's approximately 12,000 members of this unit, give or take.
Approximately
11,000 members of this unit. And approximately how many grievances get filed a year?
900.
900. And we have, right now, 8 dates per month, give or take?
Yes.
So 8 times 12, 96. So we get 900 grievances filed, we can hear 96 a year at the maximum, right? And you want to say that if we can't get something scheduled in a year or 2 years, it's constructively withdrawn. That's what you're basically telling us.
The intent of this proposal, Mr. Welby, is we've got cases that potentially could go before an arbitrator that are almost 10 years old.
Can you give me
Witnesses, documents, it makes the challenge for the Commonwealth to defend agreements much harder. The union will basically, in either a discipline case or interpretation case, 10 years down the road, doesn't have much to prove.
There's a simple solution to this, isn't there?
What would that be?
Give me 900 dates a year.
Sean, I don't want to put you, upstairs any sooner than the Lord proposes. Okay?
You're trying real hard.
On these issues, the union had some proposals, I think, in order to try to get cases heard in a more timely manner, if I recall correctly. You do have a process right now that maybe you're willing to expand or not. Again, when you're talking to Roy and his folks about some of these issues, why don't you discuss that and see what you can agree upon and what you can't? And what you can't agree upon can come back to us on the night. Right? You want
as you said, I don't think the classification
we want
issue
to
has
done,
been
so let's see how close we can get.
And I'm going to push us on that deadline too, because I don't want a situation where the panels had their deliberations, know what we're going to do, and then we're waiting on you guys to get back to us. So we're going to be pretty strict with that deadline.
So, Roy, you can't drag your feet, is what he's saying.
I was looking at Ryan. All right.
And the next ones also deal with grievance and arbitration.
They do. Section 2 of Step 1, we were looking to add language that exists in Step 2 and Step 3 of the contract, but it doesn't exist in Step 1. That the parties shall neither add to, subtract from, nor modify the provisions of this agreement. There are 2 exhibits there, and it is the Commonwealth's position that there have been local settlements between the parties that have actually modified the collective bargaining agreement. And from the Commonwealth's position, the local parties don't have the authority to negotiate the contract. And in Step 2 and Step 3 of the contract grievance process, it specifically says that the joint committee doesn't have the authority to add to, subtract from, or modify the contract, and an arbitrator doesn't have the authority. We also want that same language implied at the locals, that they can settle grievances, but they don't have the authority to change the contract language.
I would just like to add that the Fayette issue has been a long time coming, and we finally resolved it yesterday.
Just one question on this. You guys talked an entire presentation this morning about side agreements that are different from the language of the collective bargaining agreement. How is this different?
Well, side letters take vague contract language and allow the parties to modify it to fit theirs. We're talking about a provision here. Let's use the Fayette example, where a local manager, okay, changed specific contract language and took a managerial right away.
I understand what your intention is. This language is too broad for that. I mean, obviously, the parties have the right to add to, subtract from, modify the agreement anytime they want, as long as there's a mutual agreement. Your point is they can't do that on a local level.
Right.
You know, when you refer to the parties, you're all
Well,
parties.
it's specific to Section 1 step, or Section 2 Step 1 of the grievance process, which is addressing the first step of the grievance procedure at the local level.
Okay, well, I'll work with that. But I understand your intention.
Why didn't you just take a picture of that and draw a circle around it with a line through it? That's basically what we're talking about. So yes?
Is it a question you really want me to answer? I mean, you've been asking questions you don't want me to answer. I can't follow along here.
All right. I understand the intention.
The next slide is similar to what the union brought up, and it's about deleting the reference to the American Arbitration Association and replace it with the Bureau of Mediation.
Let me ask this. You talk with Ian about that in your deliberations.
No, that's
That's
Roy.
That's
I
Roy.
am his heart long.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, it's 10.
Talk to whoever you're supposed to talk to.
Just don't talk to me.
The next proposal is regarding shift differential. Commonwealth's proposing to eliminate the shift differential on 10 to 6 shift. Currently it's 90 cents an hour, I believe. Currently, all those, majority of the posts on 10 to 6 are currently bid, so we don't see that there's a need for an incentive to get people to work 10 to 6. They've already been able to bid those either through a shift bid or through a bid post.
This is eliminating shift differential.
Only on the 10 to 6. There's a separate shift differential for the 2 to 10 post. I mean, the 2 to 10 shift.
All right.
Is your, earlier you wanted to eliminate bid posts.
If we were to be successful at that, this wouldn't be
Then this
necessary.
would be moot, essentially.
Yes.
Okay. And have you costed out how much somebody would lose by not getting shift differential for the 10 to 6 shift?
We do. I don't have it with me. I can get it for
Do
you.
you have a cost of what that actually, an individual?
I can get that for you.
So in addition to all the wage proposals you made and the healthcare proposals and the leave reduction and the 3-month bereavement, the 3 days for bereavement, the 1 day for stress, limitation on overtime, now you want to eliminate the shift differential also.
Yes.
All right. That's all.
And when you're costing that out, if you could get us the total savings
Yeah.
It seems that you did have some numbers on total savings in certain proposals, you not for others.
Oh, we did, I'll get it for you. The next proposal is regarding the uniform allowance. Currently, the department provides a $450 uniform allowance to all the staff, with the exception of the correction monitors at the CCD centers. As part of the spends. We spent a little over $5 million on uniforms last year. We do provide the uniforms to the staff, as opposed to eliminate the uniform allowance.
Refresh my memory on the, I know you provide the uniforms, do the employees maintain them? That they have to take them home, clean them and so forth? Or?
Correct.
Okay. Is that clothing allowance now used to purchase additional uniforms? Is it used as like a maintenance allowance rather than a clothing allowance?
It's not specified what the money has to be used for. We provide several uniforms to each employee. I believe all they have to provide for themselves is their undergarments, their socks, and their footwear.
Okay. And is the 450 paid like in a lump sum at a certain time?
Yeah, once a year.
Once a year.
They get a payment.
Any questions?
Yeah. When you say you furnish a full uniform, what does that include?
There's a long list that's outlined in the policy. I can provide that for you. It's trousers, shirts, long sleeve and short sleeve. I believe there's a belt. I believe the vest is included in that. But the name tags, if there's patches, those kind of things. I believe there's a dress uniform, but I'm not sure if everybody receives a dress uniform. There's winter coats, hats. It's all outlined in the policy. I can provide that.
And we would appreciate that because, and I'm not trying to trick you up here, but we would disagree with that the belt is provided, and in addition to that, it's our understanding, it was my understanding, that the boots, that the shoes or boots they have to wear is not provided also.
No, the boots are not provided.
Okay. And then I think Arbitrator DeTrue asked you about the maintenance. There's no separate maintenance allowance that they get for either dry cleaning or washing them or however they get them cleaned.
Correct.
Okay.
At this moment, we're going to call another witness to address.
Okay. Hi, good morning. Could you just state your name for the record, please?
Sure, it's Sherry Hyder-Reed.
The woman I was looking for earlier. Brian was trying to find those leave provisions in the contract. Ted, go for it.
We want to reduce the work-related injury leave health benefits entitlement to 6 months. That will coincide with what we're providing right now under the SPF absence program, or sick parental and family care absence. Would just be consistent with that.
What is it currently?
Right now it's 1 year.
1 year.
The next topic I wanted to talk about, if there are no questions on that one, is the panel of physicians. The union had a proposal and talked about this during their testimony, that they wanted to remove the requirement to use the panel of physicians. And I wanted to talk briefly about that. PSCOA employees have been using panels since we first had a pilot program in the Philadelphia area. And that was back in 1994. I know that PSCOA did not represent them back then, but we had discussed the implementation of panels with the union that was representing them at the time, and worked with the union and all other unions to establish those panels. We redesigned the panels to provide better health care coverage, the ability